All right, let's talk induction cooking. You've seen them, right? That super sleek black glass top, lightning fast heat. I mean, it just screams kitchen upgrade. It promises to be more efficient, safer, you name it. But, and this is a big but, as you're planning that kitchen reno, there's always that one little question nagging at you. What is this futuristic upgrade really going to cost?
Yeah, this is the big one, isn't it? You hear all the whispers, expensive rewiring, your electricity bill going through the roof, having to toss out all your old pots and pans. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that marketing fluff. We're going to find out the real story, the shocking truth, you could say, about what it actually takes to get one of these in your kitchen.
So let's just dive right in. Look at this. On one side, you've got the classic gas range. You know it, you love it, that open flame, that immediate control. And on the other side, the clean, super minimalist induction cooktop. It really is the old guard versus the new challenger. So what's the deal with this new challenger? How does it even work? Yeah, before we can really get into the pros and cons, we gotta understand the basics of how it works. And don't worry, it's not magic, but it is pretty darn clever. So here's the most important thing to get. You see, with gas or a regular electric stove, you're heating up a burner, which then heats up your pan. Induction is totally different. It uses electromagnetism. There's a coil under the glass that creates a magnetic field, and that field turns your pan, your actual pan, into the source of the heat. The pan becomes its own little burner. That's why the cooktop itself stays pretty cool to the touch, and it's why it's supposed to be so incredibly efficient. But there's always a but, isn't there? That efficiency promise comes with what a lot of people think is a major catch, and it all starts with the installation. And honestly, this is probably the #1 fear holding people back. It's that nightmare scenario, right? You've picked out this beautiful new cooktop, you're all excited, and then the electrician comes over, takes one look, and gives you a soul-crushing quote to rip open your walls and run a whole new, massive power line. And look, this isn't just you being paranoid. This quote here proves it. It's a super common belief, and you'll hear it from salespeople, from your neighbors, sometimes even from electricians. They look at the box, they see the maximum power rating, and they just assume, well, you're going to need a giant new circuit to handle that. But that way of thinking misses something absolutely critical. It all comes down to a concept called load diversity, and it's actually just common sense. I mean, seriously, think about it. When was the last time you had 4, maybe 5 pots on your stove all cranked up to maximum power at the exact same time? It never happens, right? You've got one boiling water, another one simmering away, maybe a third just keeping warm. That's just how people cook. And the cool thing is, electrical standards have known and accounted for this for like over 50 years. Okay, check this out. Let's take this popular Bosch cooktop as a perfect example. Now, the spec sheet, the manufacturer's numbers, say it has a connected load of 7.4 kilowatts. And if you do the math, that technically means you need a 32 amp circuit. But because of that load diversity thing we just talked about, the actual demand, what it's really going to pull, is way, way lower. So low, in fact, that it can often be run safely and totally legally on the 20 amp circuit that a lot of homes already have for their old electric stove. And let me tell you, for a lot of people, this is a total game changer. We're talking about saving hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars on installation. That is huge. All right, so installation meth? I think we can call that one busted. So now let's move on to the biggest selling point of them all, efficiency. You always hear that crazy number, right? Up to 90% of the energy goes straight into your food. But is that the whole story? Well, luckily for us, the American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy, or ACEE, decided to find out. They didn't just read the marketing brochures. Nope. They set up a real head-to-head showdown, putting induction in the ring with its old-school rivals. And let me tell you, the results were definitely not what you'd expect. So get this. When they used a big pot, one that perfectly matched the size of the burner, a simple, old-fashioned electric coil stove, you know the one, was actually more efficient than induction. Yeah, no kidding. The coil came in at 83% efficiency, while induction was at 77%. Gas, well, you can see it's kind of in its own world down there. So plot twist #1, induction isn't always the king of efficiency. But like I said, that's only half the picture. Because the moment they switched to a small pot, everything changed. The electric coil's efficiency just fell off a cliff. I mean, it went from 83% all the way down to 42%. And that makes sense, right? All that extra heat is just escaping into the air around the little pan. But induction? Look at that. It barely even moved. It stayed rock solid at 76%. And that, right there, is the key takeaway. It turns out induction's true superpower isn't hitting some record breaking peak efficiency number, it's how incredibly consistent it is. In the real world, where we're using big pots, little pans, and everything in between, induction just keeps performing at that high level, while the other guys can waste a whole lot of energy. Okay, so we've covered the installation myths, and we've got the real story on efficiency. But now it's time for the main event, the cold, hard cash. The bottom line. Does all this fancy pants technology actually save you any money in the long run? All right, you might want to brace yourself for this one. According to that very same ACEE study, if your only reason for buying an induction cooktop is to save money on your bills, the time it would take to pay back just the extra $300 you spent up front is 44 years. Yeah, 44. That's more than double how long the appliance is even expected to last. So let's just be crystal clear, you are not buying an induction cooktop as a money-saving investment. It just isn't. Okay, fine. So the upfront cost is never going to pay for itself. But surely it has to be cheaper to run day to day than gas, right? I mean, it's so much more efficient. Well, the answer, and this might surprise you, is it completely depends. It all comes down to where you live and what you pay for a unit of electricity versus a unit of gas. This chicken stir-fry test using prices from the UK makes it super clear. Look at the energy used. Induction is way more efficient, using less than half the kilowatt hours. But then look at the final cost. Because the price per unit of gas was so much cheaper, cooking with gas was actually less expensive for that meal. So the whole cheaper to run argument, it's definitely not a sure thing. So to make this a little less, abstract, let's look at a real-world example. This is pretty cool. A user on a Polish tech forum actually installed a separate meter just for their induction hob to get super accurate data for their family of 4. And what they found was an average daily use of about 1.2 kilowatt hours. So that works out to about 36 kilowatt hours a month. Now, here's the cool part. You can take that number, 36, and multiply it by the electricity rate on your own utility bill. And you'll get a really good idea of what it would cost you to run one each month. Okay, so let's just recap for a second. The payback period is kind of terrible. It might not even be cheaper to run than gas. The numbers, frankly, seem to be stacked against it. So why is everybody so excited about induction cooking? Well, because the real reason to get one has almost nothing to do with the numbers. This is where induction really starts to shine. These are the benefits you feel every single day. First up, safety. There's no open flame, the surface doesn't get blazing hot, and it cools down super fast. I mean, if you have kids, that alone is a massive plus. Then there's the control. You get that instant, super precise temperature response that chefs go crazy for with gas. And cleaning? Oh my gosh, cleaning is an absolute dream. No more scrubbing around little burners, you just wipe down one flat piece of glass. And finally, a big one for a lot of people, you're not burning gas inside your house, so you're not releasing those emissions into your indoor air. So let's just boil it all down. If your absolute number one priority is the lowest possible price to buy it, then yeah, a basic gas or electric coil stove is the way to go. If you're all about the lowest monthly running cost, you've got to do your homework and check your local gas and electricity prices. But if what you really care about is amazing performance, top-notch safety, and just making your life easier, well, that's where induction is the undisputed champ. And let's not forget, it's also the best way to future-proof your kitchen as more and more places start to phase out gas. And that really brings us to the most important point. We started this whole thing by asking if an induction cooktop would destroy your budget. But you know what? Maybe that was the wrong question all along. The real question isn't which stove is the best. No, it's what kind of cook are you? It's all about figuring out the trade-offs and deciding what really matters most to you, for your kitchen, for your family, and for the way that you cook.